Selecting the topic for the TSTC Harlingen Quality Enhancement Plan spanned over 2 years. In the summer of 2012, then President Maldonado invited people from multiple areas of the college to participate. Representatives from the Student Learning Division constituted the majority of the committee. The QEP Initial Topic Selection Committee was further divided into 3 separate committees. They were the Focus Group Subcommittee, the Web Suggestion Box Subcommittee, and the Institutional Research and National and Statewide Trends Subcommittee. Each committee was tasked with conducting their research and reporting back the results to the committee at large. After reviewing the results of the research, the topic was narrowed to 3 possible candidates: Developmental English, College Success, and Developmental Math. The College Success course was quickly removed from contention because it was scheduled to be piloted in the fall of 2013. Developmental Math was ultimately chosen because empirical data showed that it was the highest area of need amongst students. For instance, the committees found that in fall of 2012, more students were placed in developmental math at all levels compared to reading and writing. Overall, passing rates for students in developmental math were lower than peers in developmental English. Students in developmental math withdrew at a higher rate across all levels than their peers in English. Once the topic was selected, the initial topic selection committee was disbanded and a new committee was formed, the QEP Development Committee. The QEP Development Committee was charged with supporting the development of the Quality Enhancement Plan proposal. This included the identification of student learning outcomes, researching the topic, actions to be implemented, timeline for implementation, resources, and assessing the success of the QEP. Members of the QEP Development Committee were chosen based on expertise in areas that were anticipated to be a part of the QEP. These included developmental and college math faculty, developmental English faculty, institutional effectiveness and research staff, and representatives from both the tutoring and advising areas. The marketing area was represented as well, since this department would be ultimately in charge of publicizing the results of the committee's work. The committee worked throughout the fall and spring of 2013 to 14. In addition to twice-monthly meetings, a series of 5 workshops were held from March through April of 2014. During these workshops, faculty, staff, and students who were not a part of the development committee were invited to share concerns, ideas, and possible strategies. Many of these ideas were incorporated in the finished QEP. Once the QEP pilot projects begin, the QEP Development Committee will dissolve and a new QEP committee will be formed to oversee implementation and evaluation. This committee will consist of representatives from across the college and will be chaired by the QEP coordinator.
Our developmental math program helps prepare students for success in college-level math and in turn, their technical and academic programs. The learning outcomes for developmental mathematics are defined by the Texas Higher Education Coordinating Board in the Academic Course Guide Manual. Our department incorporates these prescribed learning outcomes into the curriculum. These outcomes allow us to determine the competency level of developmental math concepts obtained by the students at the completion of the course. For the QEP initiative, student learning outcomes for the developmental math capstone course or intermediate algebra will be used to measure learning attainment. They will also help us determine where students may be struggling, allowing us to make curricula and programmatic changes where necessary.
The QEP Development Committee considered best practices, research, and collective input of the institutional community in the adoption of QEP strategies. The plan of action decided on includes a number of direct curricula and course modification redesigns. These include the continuation of the regular series of developmental courses like Math 50, 100, and 200 with a modified block schedule. This allows for added supplemental instruction and tutoring time. This extra attention will support the student's persistence through the developmental track. The QEP also calls for the continuation and enhancement of the accelerated course options. The Mambo course, for example, will include additional tutoring, tracking, and curriculum analysis. Also, we will strengthen our Math 300 Emporium courses through faculty and advisor collaboration, added support from faculty, lab, staff, and tutoring. Non-course-based options will be strengthened with additional support from tutoring, curriculum redesign, and other facets that we add. Additional NCBO offerings will be added to appeal to students who desire added support in math. The QEP initiative will also allow for the capping of all developmental courses at 20 students. We anticipate this will allow for greater individualized support, more instructional flexibility for teachers. The project will also include an early alert system where student progress will be tracked using the MyMathLab platform. All students will be required to meet with their faculty member to review expectations and academic progress. Finally, the QEP will include relevant and regular professional development opportunities. Faculty, along with strong collaborative networks across the institution, will participate. Departments such as advising, organizational development, tutoring, marketing, all will help ensure the implementation and success of all QEP strategies.
Another critical strategy for our QEP is the addition of supplemental instruction tutors in every developmental math classroom. The Office of Student Success Tutoring Program will be a key collaborator of this important initiative. A total of 10 SI tutors will be hired to provide supplemental instruction and tutoring the last 30 minutes of class in each of the developmental math sections. This will give students an opportunity to review the lecture materials, get help with class and homework assignments, and have an added system of support in the SI tutor. SI tutors will receive training every semester on supplemental instruction, avid learning strategies, and subject-based training. The addition of tutors directly in the classroom has already proven positive results. Students who participated in developmental math tutoring on a regular basis earned an average course GPA of 2.63 in fall 2013 and 2.4 in spring 2014. The passing rates for these students was 63% in the fall and 60% in the spring. As a result of the QEP interventions through tutoring, we anticipate passing rates to increase in these courses and the average course GPA to continue to be above a 2.0.
The TSTC Harlingen Advising Center will also be a key collaborator of the new QEP. Last fall, Texas created new guidelines for college readiness, affecting degree programs of 42 credit hours or more. The new guidelines include an entrance exam and developmental education placement, changing the state's college entry standards. When developing the QEP, this change was the greatest external factor impacting our department. When a student enters TSTC, we must decide if they require the TSI assessment in reading, writing, and math based on their major. If a student is not exempt, they must test in one or more TSI sections. After testing, the student returns to an advisor to review TSI scores and see if they are college ready or need remediation. This is where we play an important role in the QEP, using holistic advisement to assess a student's developmental level. It is our goal to ensure that students are prepared as they enter college-level academic courses. Through extensive follow-up, we ensure effective class placement for each student. We look forward to our collaborative work in implementing the QEP and observing the success of TSTC Harlingen developmental math students.
The Organizational Development Department at TSTC Harlingen supports the enhancement of student learning that will lead to success of our quality enhancement plan. Through professional development and the collaborative environment in our Center for Excellence in Teaching and Learning, organizational development will offer developmental math and academic math faculty opportunities to engage in meaningful professional development that will enhance instructional delivery, teaching skills, and deepen their content knowledge. The department will also facilitate lectures, roundtable discussions, and mentoring by TSTC faculty who have demonstrated best practices and who show an enthusiasm for teaching and learning. We feel this is critical, especially for developmental math faculty, because teaching these courses requires not just a knowledge of the content, but also an understanding of students in their context, the many challenges they face, and ways to help them overcome. Training will also be provided to QEP supplemental instructors to increase their skills as tutors, and in turn, to increase the learner's achievement. External speakers who are experts in the field of mathematics and pedagogy will also be consistently welcomed on our campus throughout the QEP project, And finally, the Organizational Development Department will coordinate planning and capacity building sessions among our QEP collaborating departments, such as Advising and Student Success, to facilitate discussions on changes to the curriculum, placement, and the needs of incoming students, as well as overall project success.
TSTC came up with a creative and ambitious math-related marketing campaign. Tailored to promote the Quality Enhancement Plan, it consists of a 4-phase rollout: the teaser phase, the answer phase, the math in action phase, and finally, the long-term implementation phase. We kicked off the campaign by strategically placing the QEP logo, a colorful attention-getting brain, and "What's your QEP" signs all around campus. Later, we came back with posters that revealed the answer: developmental math is the designated QEP. And finally, in a move to reinforce the idea that math can be fun, we brought interactive numbers and geometry games to our campus, with winners receiving math t-shirts emblazoned with catchy math phrases. The entire campaign was and will continue to be reinforced through social media messaging, games and contests, and supported by administrators, math instructors, and even student volunteers, aptly named prime numbers.
The Student Learning Division fully supports the organizational structure for the QEP initiative with financial and human resources. Within the TSTC Harlingen organization, the QEP coordinator reports directly to the Vice President for Student Learning, collaborating with the Associate Vice President for Student Learning and academic faculty and staff. Structurally, the QEP coordinator will provide the informational workshops to faculty, staff, and students, support developmental math faculty with the management of the student learning outcomes and administrative outcomes, conduct analysis, and administratively report on assessment data related to QEP goals, and will reach out to and collaborate with college and community stakeholders. Additionally, the QEP coordinator will coordinate and work with the developmental math and academic math faculty, the Organizational Development Department, Advising and Student Tutoring Departments, and other applicable faculty and staff to ensure successful implementation of the QEP. Priority is long-term sustainability of the QEP initiatives with a commitment to continued enhancement of the value of a college educational experience through a student-focused approach.
TSTC Harlingen understands and values that assessment is an integral part of the Quality Enhancement Plan. The primary aim of the assessment plan is to establish evidence that developmental math students are acquiring the knowledge, skills, and level of achievement expected. The assessment plan will include a quasi-experimental pre-post test design to determine whether programming interventions are having the intended impact on students. The assessment process is comprised of formative, summative, direct, indirect, quantitative, and qualitative assessment. While the focus of the assessment plan will be on the project's overall impact on student learning, it will also help us to determine the effectiveness of the initiative itself to produce measurable change in the success of students. The central goal of the QEP is to improve student learning and success in developmental mathematics. From this goal, we have established 5 objectives with corresponding measurable outcomes and targets. Target measures were based on available baseline data that was collected during the QEP topic selection and development process. Success will be measured by attainment of each outcome objective by the end of the project period. Multiple measures, including direct and indirect, have been identified in the plan to ensure depth of information for ongoing formative assessment of the progress towards outcome targets. The results of the assessment will be used to make improvements to programming designed to support student learning and success as part of this QEP. It will also empower our institution with data and resources to drive decision-making for scaling and sustaining the project beyond the 5-year implementation period.